as a quarterback, I think a lot of people in the chat. So Big J1 says, I believe Shedeur Sanders knows how to rally the team to play. Plus, he will change the plays to suit his play just like he did in Carolina.
So
So
hold on, let me stop him right there. See, this is where your passion, Big J, appreciate the comment and the question. And hopefully you take what I'm gonna say from the authentic place it is. This is where your passion gets in the way of what's right and wrong. When Shador gets his opportunity, his job is to run the system exactly how Stefanski wants the system to be run. You got to go in that office and say, okay, coach, this is what my research tells me about this week. What is your research telling you? How do you want to attack this defense? What do you think our strengths are this Sunday? Where do you feel like our deficiencies are? Okay, let's be on the same page. Like that, he's a young quarterback that's never started a game in the National Football League. The worst thing you can do is go out there and, based on your college experience, think that you're smarter than everybody else and you can change this play to that play. That's not the way to play that position at a high level early. You got to get in tune with the coordinator and be on the same page, play caller, whoever that is, Tommy or Kevin, a combination of both, and have the same vision going into the game so that you can execute the game plan. And the way that you get changes made is once y'all have that conversation, take a little time, whether it's a half a day or a day. If you don't think Jerry Judy's got enough opportunities early in the game, hey, coach, any way we could add a couple things for Judy to get him going early in the game? Anywhere we can get a couple play actions that Fanning is the primary, like that's how you get change. You get on the same page leading up to the game so that coach understands your ideas, but he also believes that you're fully backing what his eyes are telling him. Because they're the ones in there day and night now looking at the next opponent and what do the Ravens like to do on third and short and where they think are opportunities to get aggressive on 1st and 10 based on where we are on the field. Like they're the ones doing that deep dive research.
So, and I like that you said that because I think sometimes people gotta understand that you have to play within a structure. Have to because all 11 guys have to be on one page. So
Mm-hmm.
if you move outside of the structure that it is now, I don't want to conflate two ideas. The idea is that, it's a difference between doing what the coach says and making sure that his vision is being put out there on the football field through the quarterback's eyes. But I also think it's a difference between saying, if I got a shot and it's, hey, look, we supposed to look 1, 2, 3, and I took a look at the one first two, and I got to the third read with that post and I let it fly. In my opinion, and I'll get your thoughts on it, is there a difference in those two thought processes? Because there's wiggle room in terms of your decision making on, all right, well, let me go to this progression, not here. Let's see if I can get here and let's try to make a play in certain downs and distances.
Absolutely. As long as your reasoning for getting there is sound. Like there, in my opinion, as a coordinator, me and my quarterback gonna fall out if he comes to the sideline and say, I want to take a shot. And the shot he took was in the double coverage on 1st and 10 and it got intercepted. Like there are levels to being aggressive, right? If it's
Right.
a situation where, we got good down and distance, and guess what? I saw the safety. He was leveraged to the other side of the field, and I got Judy running open, and I take a shot and it's incomplete. That's different than just doing it to do it and throwing the ball in double coverage. And on 3rd and 4, we got a play action pass and the flat is wide open for the first down. And I'm trying to wait on the backside dig and I get sacked. Like there are levels to like when you make a decision to be aggressive at that position.
Rodney Hilson, I actually like this question because this kind of frustrates me a little bit too. So Rodney goes to say, Shaun and G. Bush, please push back vehemently when you hear anyone stating if the Shedeur is bad or worse. Just ask them, would any other team take Dylan as their backup quarterback or even a practice squad type quarterback? I think one of the things that I get the most frustrated with is when people will point to Dylan Gabriel's game and obviously you'll say, well, he did this wrong. He's overthrown people. He has limitations. He turned the ball over. There's a safety, but they always pivot and go to, well, Shedeur be much worse. Like I had to stop really going out talking to people about that because I'm just like, so you meaning to tell me you don't think he can do that? I mean, it can't get much worse than that, than what we're seeing at this point. And, is that something that the coaches are saying because that's just their guy? Or do you really feel like it could be 1,000 times worse if Shedeur got an opportunity?
No, I just think that to be fair to Shador, they've got a public to get behind him. It can't be one of these things like, okay, all right, y'all want him, we're gonna throw him out there. Like that ain't the energy you put behind a young quarterback you want to support because he's not going to be perfect from the beginning. There's
Mhm.
going to be some times when the right tackle just blatantly misses his block and he tries to get out of a sack and he ends up losing 8 more yards after that. But that's two different things, right? That's we got to get better around him. That's me also getting a chance to coach Shedeur in live situations in the National Football League. Shadur throwing the ball away, not the worst thing on first down. Like we got a double move called outside. The right tackle completely whiffs. You know you don't got time to hold it. It's 1st and 10. Throw the ball in the stands. We come back 2nd and 10, as opposed to trying to make something happen down a distance in right field position in right. Now we in a insurmountable 2nd and 19. But he's got to play to learn those things. Like so to answer your question, I do think he's an upgrade because I think it was a bad eval from the get go. But in order for him to succeed or have the best opportunity to succeed, the organization got to be behind him too. Like you can't just throw anybody out there without support. Like that's a tough game, fellas. Like the Buffalo Bills went down to Miami and got woodshedded because they didn't show up with their A+ game. So I mean, the league. That's why the NFL is king because everybody's under the same budget.
Yep.
Like it's not baseball. It's not the Dodgers. Why go out and add Freddie Freeman to Mookie Betts and then go out and add Shohei Ohtani to Freddie Freeman. And it's not that league. This is a league. Everybody operates under the same budget. And the teams that have a good culture and have the right people in management and the right quarterback, they win at a high level. But even those teams, when they show up without their A game, you can lose to anybody in this league on any Sunday.
When you take a look at, I think you said something on UCSS, and you said offensive line, right? People will say offensive line, and we need to just get thousands of offensive linemen. And I agree, you do need some offensive linemen, and you probably need to spend a high pick on them if you want a quality one. I mean, if you're waiting to free agency for a tackle to come open, he on the free agent block for a reason. Like nobody is cutting these dudes loose. So when you said something, I thought that this was very deep. Was you show me where's these dominant O lines at?
Right. Show me
Where,
the
where,
quarterback on Sunday who ain't under pressure.
all of them are. Every
All
single
of them.
last one of them. So
Like you hear me say something about playing that position. Calm when it's chaotic. The guys who consistently produce and are productive are the guys that stay calm when it's chaotic. The way to get a winning offensive line, I'm gonna call it, because nobody has a dominant O line. The way to get a winning offensive line is to continue to stockpile talent to create depth, so that you've got it is the most talented group you can get up there, and that group behind them has enough talent where when they got to be put in spots, you know what, the ability level's there. That to me, that's the teams that, look at Kansas City. Kansas City, right? Rasheed Rice was suspended. They easily could have went defense. What they do in the draft? Added Josh Simmons from Ohio State. And O-line wasn't even really a weakness of theirs, but Andy Reid knows you can never have too many good O-linemen. Like, so you just got to start getting more talent at that position and trying to create depth.
you speaking of the depth, when you look at, I guess the biggest problem with the Cleveland Browns, I look at the wide receiver group. When you take a look at Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and some of these other dudes, when you take a look at what the Browns have and what they've invested in those positions, I could argue they've never really truly invested premium capital in drafting a guy who's going to be a Malik Neighbors or T Mac or some of these other dudes that these other teams are taking. Do you feel like if SHEDUER Sanders wants to be a quarterback or wants to have a clean runway to have the most success, if he shows enough to be the quarterback in 2026, is receiver the biggest glaring issue in your opinion?
Offensively, absolutely. 100%. And I think it's a position that can be addressed in the draft. I also think it's a position you can address in free agency. You don't listen, Jamar Chase and those guys, they're not coming available. They're just like tackles.
Mhm.
Like a team is not letting those guys hit the market, but you can go and make Jacoby Myers your number one priority. And now you got Jacoby Myers and Jerry Jeudy and Harold Fannin and Quinshawn Judkins. Then you can go out and add another quality, productive wide receiver in the draft. And now all of a sudden you're not bottom third of the league from a talent standpoint. You're middle of the league. Then the year after that, you go add another piece to that group. The one organization that I think finally has gotten it right is the Chicago Bears. Like they added DJ Moore, then they went and drafted Rome Odunze, then they added Zacchaeus and drafted Colston Loveland, and they're just continually getting better around Caleb Williams. And now you're starting to see the results. Now that they have an effective and efficient head guy in Ben Johnson. So the more talent you can put around the quarterback, the better. but you got to be good at evaluating. You can't waste third round picks on Dylan Gabriel and upgrade the roster. You just can't do it. That's too valuable of an asset.
What you mentioned not, swinging and missing on the evaluation. Why do you think it's, the success rate and it's so difficult to hit or miss rate with these quarterbacks? And what do you attribute to this renaissance of Sam Darnold's, Baker Mayfield's, Mac Jones, Carson Wentz to like a lesser degree, Geno Smith for a couple of years in Seattle? Is it the fact that they have had enough time to mature, or are they a product of the failure and then them having to put their nose down and get back to it? Or is it just the fact that people are bad at evaluating quarterbacks and they just bounce around and it just clicks for some people and others it don't?
Let's start. I think they're bad at evaluating quarterbacks. And instead of admitting it and bringing somebody in that you fully trust to evaluate that position, they rely on metrics. And they come up with reasoning for, okay, well, he did this, he's got this, he's got, and then they fall into the likability hole. A guy walks in the building, he looks like you would want a franchise quarterback to look, he says all the right things. I think one of the dumbest things in the quarterback evaluation process is when you see these young quarterbacks in the draft process in a room and a guy goes, hey, blast, swap, bunch route. That's kind of most 7-2 crisscross, why swing X out. If we get anything strong over 98 bunch crunch, what I just say. And they will take a guy off the board because he can't repeat it. Well, damn it, he ain't supposed to be an expert at your system. He's supposed to be an expert at the system he just came from. Your job is to find out, is he talented enough for you to get him into your building and teach him your system? Hell, you couldn't regurgitate the plays like that initially. And all you do is coach. Like some of the metrics that they use to judge these guys make absolutely no sense to me. But as far as success for young guys, I think this one correlation is most important. Talent versus expectations. When you overdraft a quarterback, but your expectation is that he's going to save your franchise or lead your franchise to a playoff berth Super Bowl opportunity, then you don't have the one thing that a lot of them need, and that's patience.
When you just, I always said the NFL is great because what they did is they found a way to make the NFL the greatest league in the world because they created a 24-hour, 365 news cycle. And I thought one of the brilliant marketing schemes that they did, because I don't remember this terminology being around when you were playing in your playing days. It just seems like they came up with this word franchise quarterback. And franchise quarterback is a loaded word. It means you are looking for a messiah without actually drilling down on the characteristics of what a good quarterback is. But now we hear franchise quarterback, and that's a buzz phrase for regular people who have jobs that just want to watch the NFL. That signifies to them, well, you should be great today, right now, because franchise quarterback means you're the face of the franchise. You should be great. Do you believe that there's a the expectations that people literally be having is skewed based upon what they've heard or buzzwords? Because I look at Peyton Manning. He threw 30-something picks, right? His
28.
28 or something. And if that happened today,
they're trying to run him out of town. They run him out of town.
Right?
Yeah. And the thing is, for a young quarterback to be successful, you got to incubate every part of him. Like he has to grow physically, he got to grow mentally, he's got to have some tough love in the quarterback room. And that's where a lot of this starts too. There are not a lot of guys coaching quarterbacks in the National Football League that are good quarterback developers. A lot of the quarterback coaches are just friends with the coordinator. Coordinator don't have to worry about nothing being said in the quarterback room that's not 100% what he would say as far as the scheme, but they don't know how to get the guys in the room better. Like think about this, and I'm going to call him out because I know him. I don't care if he gets mad. Josh McCown.
Right.
Josh McCown was a journeyman quarterback that played for a long time, but is very well liked to the point where the Houston Texans interviewed him for their head coaching job, and he had never coached. He went to the Carolina Panthers, and what's the head coach that was with the coach? That was the first head coach with Bryce Young. What's his man? He's a former quarterback.
Matt Rule.
No. Before that, after Matt Rule. What's his name? Oh my God. Anyway, people look it up and know what I'm talking about. Josh McCown was Bryce Young's quarterback his rookie year. Bryce Young was awful. The same kid we saw ball at Alabama, he got worse under Josh McCown. They got fired. Guess what? Josh McCown ain't stay unemployed 5 days. He went to Minnesota. Now, after what he did with developing Bryce Young at such a high level, I'm being sarcastic. Minnesota now has him in charge of developing JJ McCarthy. It's just it's crazy. Like who's the actual guy in some of these quarterback rooms? And I've sat in them, and I've had to bite my tongue in the back of some of these rooms because we watching tape, and the quarterback's dead wrong. Footwork is bad, decision is bad, throw is terrible, and the whole conversation would be like, we got pushed from the left guard. So the D tackle was underneath the throw. Like, I mean, the lack of accountability in some of these rooms is so minimal, and the guy can't grow if you don't tell him the truth.
That was one of my main gripes with Kevin Stefanski. Multiple people came out and said that, during them film sessions, everybody else was getting, I ain't got to tell you, you done been in them film sessions where
Right.
I laugh at joke and say, there's times on the field where you do something, you come back to the sideline, you be talking to your dudes. Hey, bro, I'm about to get it in film session. They be like, what happened? And I completely, bro, I went the wrong way on that play, and I got waxed. I laid it down, and then I stopped running. I'm going to get a loafer on top of that. So it's like, it's one of them joints where it's just crazy when people be doing that. But when
Hey, G. Bush, the biggest crutch in football at the quarterback position now is the iPad. It's my pet peeve, man. A quarterback, it'll be 3rd and 3, and he'll airmail the ball to the flat, and they'll go to the sideline, and I can read lips. They're talking about where the backside safety lined up before the snap. I'll be like, boy, I wish I was on the sideline, man. I don't care if the backside safety was over there in the front row. Let's focus on why we over here right now. Like, I need you to set your feet and be intentional with where you're throwing this football. We got a guy wide open in the flat. What are we talking about?
And they go sit by themselves. They be looking, and I'm like, man, the answer is not on that iPad. You better stop it. Like, you doing way too much, man. That's funny as heck. You mentioned that because that kind of irks me now too. That I think about it because it's be like, come on, man, that's all cap. You weren't doing. You ain't throw the ball well.
It's crazy, man. It's no accountability there, but that's why it's hard for those guys to develop. And it starts in college. Like, you look at college, like fundamentals are at an all-time low, ball locations all over the place. Guys spend more time trying to throw the ball sidearm from below their waist so they complete like a RPO or a screen pass or something, and they can't stand in a clean pocket and throw the hook route that's wide open. So it's a lot you got to overcome as a young quarterback, especially in some of these organizations that just aren't built to develop a young quarterback. But, man, just as it pertains to the Browns, they got to just be honest with themselves. They made a bad eval. Don't die on that branch. Like, you got to go to Shedeur, but you also got to reset the SHEDUER Sanders tenure in Cleveland. Like, you got to be public and say, you know what? We're fully behind Shedeur the rest of the season. You got to start the offensive meeting. I would put up Shedeur highlights from Colorado and be like, listen, we're going with Shedeur. This is what he's capable of doing if we all do our job around him. So let's really lock in. Let's really lock in, and let's make sure that this young man gets an opportunity to go out and be his best. And then I would pull Shedeur in the quarterback room and show him all the things I thought he did bad at Colorado, just as a refresher. Like, keep this in your mind too, right? On 1st and 10, right, we don't got to win the game. Let's take what they give us. Let's get the ball out, right? Let's not try and take any bad sacks. Our ball security, when we're being evasive in the pocket, is bad. That's going to turn into a fumble in the National Football League. D lineman too good. Like, there's certain things that I'm going to refresh him individually, but I'm going to show the highlights to the team and be like, hey, man, let's go. Let's rock. Let's roll, baby. Because what's their record right now?
2-7.
2-7, right? They got 8 games left. So Dylan's going to start this game. More likely they're going to lose. They'll be 2-8. So what they got? 7 games left after that? Let's see if we can go 5. Yeah, let's see if we can go 500. Come on, guys. Let's get this thing headed in the right direction. Like, we're going to feel real good about ourselves. And I had this conversation with the coaching staff and with the GM. And listen, we'll feel real good about ourselves the last 7 games of the season if we come out of that feeling like we got our quarterback of the future. So let's put that energy and support behind this young man and see if that's what we have.
Coming up on our next podcast, and we're going to try to do it next week. I already reached out to her, and she's going to come to the show. Josina Anderson. Josina Anderson is going to be in the barbershop. We're going to talk to her about journalism, about being a Black woman in journalism, her journey, her business acumen. What is she doing now? How she got into the game. We'll get her thoughts on the Browns, SHEDUER Sanders, all that good stuff. But yeah, definitely excited to talk to her. And she's been a major contributor, major journalist in this game for a very long time. Been on all major CBS, Fox, ESPN, all that. So she's well connected, well plugged in. So if you guys have not seen this, that should be alone enough to come on in here and get that conversation, because we are going to get with her. We're going to work out the time, but she's already said she's going to do it. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you get the membership, hit the join button, hit the like button. And we want to thank every single one of you for being here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Tyvis Pile, we get to the breakdown. We watch the supercomputer glitch up. And guess what? This might be the last week where we seen the Dylan Gabriel stuff. The week after that, you could be watching SHEDUER Sanders breakdown. Y'all might want to get in here while it's hot. With that being said, you never know where I show up: radio, television, internet, but if you want a fresh cut on sports, G. Bush always keep the Clippers. And even though we be mad at her sometimes, it's always, you know what it is. Go Browns.